Hello everyone and welcome to another round of Tuesday Night Legacy. Tonight we have another one from 6 months ago. This is Jeskai Stoneblade versus Black, White, Death and Taxes. On the left is a player I didn't catch the name of playing a Jeskai Stoneblade list. This deck takes the best part of a control deck and applies aggro to it to create it's kind of like a tempo strategy, but not quite. It controls the best that it can with the playset of Force of Wills and the Swords to Plowshares and some prismatic endings as well as a Supreme Verdict. But then this particular deck depends a lot on its Planeswalkers in Teferi and Jace, as well as of course the namesake of the deck, the Stoneforge Mystic, because at the time that this was being played, Culture Complete was still a pretty unstoppable force, and being able to turn this card sideways for 4 turns wins you a game. So combating this control/aggro strategy is William on the right side with his black-white D&T list. William likes to put all sorts of fun-ofs in this deck. Of course, it is a core D&T list with Mother of Runes, Thalia, Flickerwisp, Stoneforge Mystic. He also happens to run, sometimes he runs Sarah Avenger. I don't think that's going to be in this list, but some spicy adds. He's got Giada, Font of Hope. This is mostly a 2-mana 2/2 flying vigilance creature that he doesn't have to wait 3 turns at the start of the game to play. Also, of course, with the black splash runs Plague Engineer, and out of the sideboard you're going to see Opposition Agent and a couple of spicy other artifacts that I'm not going to spoil here. So let's go ahead and get this match started, see who's going to win through those aggro beats. We have Jeskai starting the game just with an Island Go. We're going to see William on the play here, playing on his first turn a Karakas into an Aether Vial. Aether Vial being a very useful card that is going to net him a lot of advantage, being able to get around counter spells, be able to vial things in here as well as use his mana effectively. The only problem is here, doesn't look like William's got any other mana besides that Karakas. And Karakas is, of course, a non-basic and a legendary land, so if he draws another Karakas, that's kind of dead mana. And he is very open, very susceptible to a wasteland here. I think this is the 3rd turn of the game. He still hasn't played any other lands. So redeploying the Aether Vial, have the Mother of Runes coming in, taking care of that Teferi Time Raveler that went ahead and bounced that Aether Vial to reset William. And now we're seeing a Prismatic Ending. Prismatic Ending for 1, which is going to get rid of Mother of Runes since it was tapped. Have to tap it to attack. Leaving the shields down on the Mother of Runes, not being able to give itself protection. We're seeing that Jace the Mind Sculptor come in here. Can't bounce the Aether Vial, but you can Brainstorm for free, which is always nice. Drawing 3 cards, that 0 ability there. Drawing 3 cards, put 2 back. William just mana screwed really badly here. He goes ahead and discards down to hand size, discarding a Thalia that he could have activated and gotten into play. So there's the 2nd Thalia in his hand. So we're seeing a Snapcaster Mage getting cast. Thalia comes in response, trying to tax out the Prismatic Ending. But the problem with Prismatic Ending is that Converge, the Thalia tax actually helps pay for the Converge, and he was still able to get rid of it, no problem. And William just goes ahead and concedes the game with the advantage that Jace was going to provide for the rest of that game and having absolutely no mana. It was just, he was too far behind and losing his Aether Vial. So a lot has happened here. Looks like we saw a Thalia come into play, a Swords to Plowshares, getting rid of that. An Aether Vial tried to come in on turn 1. A Force of Will said no thanks to that, pitching a Jace the Mind Sculptor. A 2nd Thalia is going to get Force of Willed again, losing the Snapcaster Mage this time. So although William isn't getting anything to stick, the Jeskai player is losing a ton of resources trying to keep William's board clear. And if they're both top decking, well, it can really go either way. The Jeskai player probably has a little bit better advantage with the draw spells in Brainstorm and Ponder. But William getting to stick an Aether Vial here is going to be a huge deal. Getting around further counter magic. Looks like a Sword of Sinew and Steel coming into play. Ooh. Well, we'll talk about the sword in a second because it's not going to matter for the moment. A Ruination for the Jeskai player, destroying all non-basic lands, which was all of William's lands. So no more lands for William. He's going to have to draw these lands off the top here. Does have an Aether Vial on 3. And we're seeing Stoneforge Mystic go ahead and fetch a Batterskull. We could talk about Sword of Sinew and Steel now, which kind of an odd choice, seeing as if he can deal damage with this sword, he can destroy target artifact. And Batterskull is not indestructible, so could blow up the Sword of Sinew and Steel. Or not, blow up the Batterskull, unless he has the 3 mana to bounce it. We're seeing a Plague Engineer, probably naming Core, and a Flicker Wisp, bouncing the Batterskull Germ token. Flicker Wisp being able to target any non-land permanent. Oh, any permanent. That Germ is out of there. Seeing a Cauldron come down. Tap that Aether Vial. Another Flicker Wisp. Get rid of that Germ. Just have 2 0/1s. Not super strong there. Although he does have 5 mana, so he could equip one of these Stoneforge Mystics, turn them into a 4/5 with Vigilance and Lifelink. Since it is, you know, an equipment, can be equipped. Just doesn't always happen all that often. Gain some life. William presenting a lot of damage in the air here. Can't attack with the Plague Engineer anymore, unless he wants to lose it. So 6 damage in the air with the Flicker Wisps. Seeing a Ponder from Jeskai. Don't like what he sees. Shuffles it up, draws a card. A Brainstorm. Put some cards back. And a Prismatic Ending is going to try and get rid of the Aether Vial that has generated so much value for William this game. Another Flicker Wisp going to bounce something. Still trying to decide. I think he's targeted the Stoneforge with the boy on it, the Batterskull. So we're seeing enter the battlefield effect. Fail to find any other equipments. William draws that second land right when he needs to. Deciding what he's going to equip this sword to. Or maybe he's not going to equip this turn. Maybe he's scared of like a Swords to Plowshares or something from the Stoneblade player. The Jeskai player. No, he goes for it. He goes and equips and he goes, okay, what does this do? So if it hits him, he can destroy an artifact and he can destroy a Planeswalker. So we see a bin of a Stoneforge Mystic and another 6 damage. Re-equip to the final Stoneforge Mystic. Finally seeing some mana here on William's side. Decides 2 mana. It's going to get Thalia. Goes, okay, swords one of your Flicker Wisps. And we're going to get Mother of Runes down. Now, Sword of Sinew and Steel does give protection from red and black. The Germ is black, but the Stoneforge Mystic is white. So it can be blocked. Obviously, since he blocked it last turn. Trying to decide how we're going to tap here. We're seeing a Meltdown for 4. Meltdown, you got to pay X. Destroy each artifact with total casting cost X. So he pays 4 into it for the Thalia attacks, making X equal 3? Wait. No, that's not how that works. It'd be 1, 2, and Thalia attacks. So it should not have destroyed the sword. But he did have an extra mana, so he didn't do anything else with it. And it didn't really actually change the game state, so not a huge deal. We're on to game 3. Those Flicker Wisps closing out the gap there. Batterskull not getting it done. We're seeing a Mother of Runes get swordsed on turn 1 here. If you can catch the Mother of Runes before it can untap, then, yeah, no protection there. Stoneforge Mystic is going to probably go and get Cauldron. Not messing around this time. What do we got? A Chalice of the Void on 1. Chalice of the Void. Pay XX. So all 1-drops would have been countered whenever they were cast, but Force of Will. Looks like the Jeskai player wanted to keep his cantrips. We're seeing Giada come down. The 2-mana Flying Vigilance 2/2. Legendary creature that can be bounced with Karakas. Just going to get a Swords. Says, you know what? I don't want to deal with it. I don't know about any of these angels he's going to be playing. He's going to cast Kaya Orzhov Usurper. Comes down, can minus to exile target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 1 or less, taking care of that germ. Since tokens have CMC 0. And we see Stoneforge Mystic trying to attack into Kaya, bring down that loyalty, but is ticked right back up, exiling some cards from the graveyard. We see Giada come down. Giada is a pretty good blocker for a 2/2 into a 2/1, or a 1/2, excuse me. So Stoneforge Mystic kind of stonewalled here. A Ponder into an island, and just a pass back. No action there. Going up to 3 counters with Kaya, exiling some more from the graveyard. And that Sword of Sinew and Steel is back. Unfortunately, this cannot destroy Culture Complete, since it is indestructible, but that's fine. We see another Ruination getting rid of most of William's lands. An Aether Vial, he refuses to go down. I don't need lands. I'll just use my Aether Vial to get everything into play. Prismatic Ending says no thanks to that plan. So the fun thing here is for Kaya, deals damage to target player equal to the number of cards that player has in exile, and you gain that much life. So Jeskai is already down to 9. Counting up the amount of cards in exile, looks pretty close to 9. Especially with Giada having this sort of Sinew Steel. Even though William's not getting maximum advantage getting to destroy things. Yep, that's it. One more attack and kind of was just going to ultimate next turn, and that's taking care of the Jeskai player. Well, there you have it. In a fair game of Magic, it looks like the attrition war of black-white D&T can drive itself to victory sometimes over the Jeskai Stoneblade players. Well, before I turn it over to pre-recorded, Eugene, I just want to say that I always appreciate all of the support that everybody's been giving to the channel. We're almost at 460 subscribers. It's almost halfway to 1,000. So if you haven't already, tell your friends about the channel. And we'll see you next time. All right, pre-recorded Eugene, take it away. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of this content in the future. We have a bunch more of these on the channel, so go check out our backlog to see some other premium content. If you're curious about a deck you saw played here, the deck lists are always in the description of the video below. Thanks as always to Spellhold Games for letting us play at their store, and we'll see you next time for some more Magic content on Tuesday Night Legacy. Bye!